Hi, I'm here to tell you about our project, a trail surveying device for persons with quadriplegia. So here's some background on our need knower. She's a mature adult with incomplete quadriplegia, and her work mostly involves surveying local trails around Northern California for accessibility. Her hobbies include hiking, crafting, biking, and cooking. Quadriplegia affects her in a few different ways, mostly in her phalanges and her lower body. She's a wheelchair user and primarily manipulates objects through the use of palmar and dorsal regions of her hands. She has limited use of her phalanges and mostly uses her thumb to manipulate objects. So, what is quadriplegia? Quadriplegia is a form of paralysis that affects all four limbs of the body in some way. It's usually caused by traumatic injury to sections of the spinal column. So the symptoms will vary based on the type of quadriplegia and also based on what part of the spine. There's a massive variability in treatment and assistive devices that persons with quadriplegia use. There are things like hand splinting, which prevents contractures of the fingers and hands, surgical interventions, and different assistive devices for different contexts. So, in our interview with our need knower, we discovered a few different needs and design opportunities. The main design opportunity we identified was for surveying trails. She's been doing this for about 20 years, and she uses an iPad, an iPhone, and a separate camcorder. Due to the scope of this project, we decided to design just for an iPhone, but it's important to note that it was really challenging for her to manipulate and hold her devices while she's documenting trails for accessibility. So she's using her iPhone to take photos and shoot video, but there was no system in place to hold these so that she could focus on documentation. Here are some user needs we identified during our interview. One was that it must be adjustable. Having multiple sizes of assistive devices was really impractical to carry around, especially when she's going out and surveying on trails like away from her house. In addition, costs rack up with this variety of different devices. In addition, she wanted this device to be versatile and easy to use, because having multiple assistive devices to complete a singular task is really frustrating. In addition, she wanted this to be portable and compact so that she could take it on the go and assemble it and store it herself. And lastly, and probably the most importantly, it should be independent to use. So she should be able to manipulate and use the assistive device without intervention from others. Our prototype that we created to fulfill these needs was comprised of a 4-part system: a 4-bar linkage with a spring balance, a one-touch phone mount, a motor mount base, and a joystick controller. This system clamps directly to the arm of the wheelchair so that the phone is positioned in front of the user. The system holds the phone in a vertical position no matter where the user chooses to adjust the position of the mount. In addition, the spring balance system allows for easy backdrivability with little force. This allows the user to push the linkage into the position of their choosing without using the joystick as well. In future iterations of this project, we plan to make a few improvements. One, we'd like to make more lateral stiffness, potentially via material choice. This will prevent wobble during movement. In addition, we'd like this to be self-contained, potentially looking at plugging this device into the wheelchair. Third improvement that we might look into is adding different axes of motion and different modes to this system. Using the button press capability of the joystick to program different modes might allow for greater user flexibility. That concludes the presentation of an assistive device for trail surveying for users with quadriplegia. Thank you for watching.